Let me give you an example of one type of auditing where let's say that a team goes into a county and they pick out randomly 8 or 9 boxes out of 100, and they say, we're going to look at one race in the general, just the general, and they look at one race and they open up a box and they tape from the DS200 or whatever machine does the tabulating, says there's 500 ballots in this box, 450 votes for candidate A and 50 votes for candidate B, and they hand count those, say, yep, there's 500, and yep, there's 450 for this candidate A and 50 for candidate B, and they do 8 other boxes out of 100, and they go 100% accuracy. Is that good enough?
It's not good enough. It was sort of the best we knew how to do 20 years ago, before sort of people had thought hard about this question and devised sort of methods that will make better guarantees. So because that was how people thought about random audits 20 years ago or more, that's what you find written into a lot of state laws. And it's, there's 2 important limitations of that. First, if you only count some of the ballot boxes, then to get the same level of statistical guarantee, you got to do a lot more work. Out of 8 or 9 ballot boxes, each one has 500 ballots. That's a lot of counting to have to do. But the more important limitation is that some states say, well, you only got to pick one race to recount, to audit. And that means the machines, if they were hacked, they could get away with cheating in the other contests that you didn't audit. So it's a very weak kind of guarantee that you're getting with that old-fashioned kind of audit, and it's really inadequate.
First thing they tell me is, hold on a second, Colonel. Let me school you on this. We do an LNA test. We do a logic and accuracy test. We ensure that these machines are working properly prior to the election. In fact, we even do a public demonstration by law, and we show, and nobody comes, they say, but they say we show that we run a stack of these ballots through the machine, and they are 100% accurate every time. There's no way they can possibly be manipulated because they're not connected to the internet. You simply don't know what you're talking about. What do you say to people like that?
Well, a logic and accuracy test is useful for catching accidental misconfiguration, but it's not useful for catching malware, hacks in the voting machine that might be deliberately cheating. So let me talk about old-fashioned voting machines and modern voting machines.
Okay.
More than 100 years ago, people invented mechanical lever action voting machines where you walk into a booth and there's lots of little odometers recording votes behind the screen. And those were not computers. They weren't really programmable. The mechanism worked the same way today as it would tomorrow. And if you did a logic and accuracy test before the election to make sure that the mechanism was all working, then very likely it would work the same way during the election. But that was 100 years ago, or 60 years ago, or 40 years ago. This is the 21st century, and now we have computers. And the essential thing about a computer is that you can change the program. You can install new software in it. Every one of us that has a computer or a phone, we know that new software is being installed every month, every week. We get our software updates, we install our apps, we change out our apps. The whole thing about a computer is you don't know what software is in it today. Now, what that means is a determined hacker, the adversary of election integrity, can devise a computer program that behaves one way on a Monday when they're running the logic and accuracy test and behaves different way on a Tuesday of the actual election. The computer program knows what the date is. Your phone, your computer knows the date, and it's not at all hard to write a program that cheats only on election day. In fact, there was a court case in New Jersey 15 years ago where we demonstrated to the court by writing a little computer program like that would only cheat, on election day. And in a protected, court-ordered forensic environment, we actually installed that on the voting machine because, it's a felony to do it out there in the wild. And demonstrated this. And I'm not the only one to demonstrate this. It's just a basic fact of computer science that it's not hard to write a computer program that behaves this way one day and that way another day. If the voting administrators have accidentally misconfigured a ballot so that it's, reading marks from the wrong place in the page, and people are human, people make mistakes, that's okay, then the logic and accuracy test is a great way to catch that kind of thing, because you'll mark the ballots a certain way, you'll run them through the voting machine and see what the totals come out to, and it won't be right from your test deck. That's fine. What they can't do is detect whether the voting machine is going to cheat on a Tuesday when you test it on a Monday, if the cheating has been programmed deliberately into it. Now, we don't believe that these computers are routinely programmed to cheat, right? We just know that it's possible to do that, and we want to make sure that our elections are trustworthy, even in light of reprogrammable computers. And for that, the logic and accuracy, the LNA tests are not useful.
All these machines can have these vulnerabilities, could they not?
Right. It's not just the Dominion machines in Georgia.
Right.
They're all computers.
Right.
They all have vulnerabilities. The ones that have known vulnerabilities are the ones that some judge has let some security expert investigate.
Right.
And the ones you're using in Arkansas are just ones where no judge has recently let anyone investigate, but I'm sure they have all the same flaws.